And hi everybody, welcome to the Buchanan Gymnasium for the second night of the Hempfield Holiday Tournament. It is the consolation game up first. The Black Knights taking on the Wilson Bulldogs, two teams who fought hard yesterday but were unable to get victories. But we'll have to see if the Bulldogs, they were upset last night by Central York. Meanwhile, the Black Knights, they put up a big fight against the Aces, but neither team could prevail, so who will prevail tonight? That is the key question. My colleague tonight is Ben Marinas. Glad to have you back on camera, Ben. And for this Hempfield team, you know, they performed well yesterday, all things considered. A lot better than I think we expected.
Yeah, I've heard comments before last night's game saying, oh, how bad are we going to get killed? Well, we're going to lose by 50. Really lost. We kept it within 20. It was only down 10 at the end of the third quarter. That's the best game I've seen Hempfield play, even though it was in a losing effort. Yeah, if they can carry that into this game, they have a chance to do what Central York did last night and upset the Wilson Bulldogs.
Well, that would be something. Kieran Borian is the first starter for Wilson. Senior guard. Stevie Mitchell, a junior guard for the Bulldogs.
5'7" junior guard for 5,
Mike L. Huffman, junior.
6'2" senior forward for 10, Fonte Lockhart.
Fonte Lockhart, we've called his name a couple times before on the football broadcast. Starts for the basketball team as well. And Evan Timochenko, a 6'6" senior, are the starters for Wilson. And for Hempfield.
6' senior guard for Will Hessinger.
Will Hessinger back in the lineup.
6'1" junior guard number 5, Ryan Hilton.
Ryan Hilton, who had 15 last night.
6'3" junior forward number 10, Brandon Hagel.
Brandon Hagel, the junior.
6'4" junior forward number 34, Devon Green.
Davon Edmund Green had his best game as a varsity player yesterday.
44, Daniel Sears.
And Dan Sears rounds out the lineup. Head coach Walk for the Black Knights, head coach Calderon for the Wilson Bulldogs. And now it's time for the national anthem. You know you're in Landis when you hear that recording.
Yep.
But we are ready to go from the Buchanan Gymnasium. So, Ben, you know, a couple days ago, I think Miguel Pena, he might have needed a name tag in the locker room for people to know who he was. I think everyone knows who he is now. Came in off the JV squad, making his varsity debut last night. Drowned 4 threes. Went punch for punch with Sam Brown, of course, Brett Brown's son for Lower Marion.
Pena was phenomenal last night. And I remember Austin saying, a lot of guys, himself, myself, your first chance to prove yourself as a varsity athlete, most guys go out there and bomb spectacularly. But Pena, on the other hand, went out there dropping bombs spectacularly. So he missed his first shot and then hit 4 3-pointers in a row from there.
Pretty insane for Pena. What he was able to do, he doesn't start tonight. Wilson gets the opening tip. And pass out to Huffman. To Lockhart, back to Borian. And we'll see what kind of approach Wilson can come up with tonight, losing 55-48 yesterday to the Panthers in the first game. They started off with Timochenko. That 6'6" senior forward. He's the tallest player on the team. And he's going to be a presence that Hempfield's going to have to deal with.
Much like Lower Marion last night, Wilson applying a full court press early. Maybe they saw how Hempfield struggled, especially early on last night in breaking that press.
And an early turnover there as they were trying to get it to Hagel. And Edmund Green went for the block, didn't get it, but the shot was missed and the rebound by Hagel.
That shot disruption there, it won't go in as a block, but that's as good as a block.
Hessinger tried to set up Edmund Green there. He couldn't corral it. Wilson gets it right back, and this time, going in for the layup is Stevie Mitchell. Couldn't get it the first time, got it on the second. And Hempfield, as he said, with that full court press, they got to get a little more creative when it comes to getting it past the back court. We saw one backcourt violation last night for the Black Knights. That's something they can't afford to do against a very good Wilson team.
Yes, and you see a little bit of a different style of full court press, more of a zone press. Wilson here just straight manning up, put pressure on your guy from the moment he steps on the court.
Yeah. Edmund Green with the first bucket of the night for Hempfield, 4-2. Lockhart with an open look, he'll take it, and he will connect with it.
Lockhart, multi-sport star, recently named an all-state linebacker at 6A football. Congratulations to him. And he's showing here he's no slouch on the court either.
Played both at linebacker and at running back for the Wilson Bulldogs, and now he's playing on the court as well. Here's Hessinger, out to Edmund Green, to Hagel. Hagel didn't play a ton last night, played a little bit in the first quarter, but was held out for most of that game. We'll see.
It'll be interesting to see if Hempfield can get Hagel going here. He had a bit of a slow start last night and could never really recover. And for a young guy, sometimes that can shake your confidence a little bit.
Well, there's a shot from three. So much for the confidence now.
I think he's feeling good. Right?
I think he's got it back. All righty. First of the night for Hagel, his 8th on the year. Lockhart. Out to Borean, who tries to drive, bounces off and in. Lucky bounce there for Kieran Borean.
Say that again, Kasey. Oh my goodness.
All right. You know, problem last night for Hempfield, we talked about it, it was the turnovers. That really killed them last night. Their inability to pass the ball effectively and giving it back to Wilson, or to Lower Merion several times. Nice job by Edmund Green finishing. I'll tell you what, he came on last night, had 8 points. He's already got 4 tonight. He is becoming their big man in the paint.
Yes, I remember Austin saying last night how much he's matured.
Oh, yeah.
And just every game, just a little more seasoned, a little more experience, and he just gets better and better before our eyes. Every game we commentate, it's a great thing to see.
Started out playing in Columbia. His sophomore year, came over to Hempfield, was part of the JV squad. He's improved a lot since then. Got a move put on there by Lockhart, though. As they continue to pass it out. Back to Mitchell, who will look to drive and then flip it to Borean for 3. Got it! And Wilson shooting great from the field so far tonight. As they've got now 2 3-pointers and then 3 other field goals to their credit so far. Here's Hilton to Sears. Sears had a rough night last night, fouled out against Lower Merion, looking to try and make sure that doesn't happen again.
And that's something that kind of comes with the territory for Sears. He's a defensive-minded big. He plays tough in the paint, and some nights doing that, you're just going to foul out. He's a competitor, and he can't let fouling out last night shake his confidence tonight. He needs to keep that same defensive intensity all season.
Strobel comes in for Borean now for the Wilson Bulldogs, their first sub of the night. We'll see who comes in for Hempfield. They're still without Connor Elslugger and Alex Wilkinson at their disposal. We'll see if Connor Axe plays tonight. He didn't play last night, although he is again dressed. So we'll see if he gets in tonight or if they decide to keep him off until the new year.
Pre-game looked like Connor Axe went through warm-ups fully. Last night looked like wasn't quite a full participant, so yeah. I'm optimistic that he gets in this game.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Hempfield, they've got a good amount of depth now, whether it be players from JV or whatnot. And Wilson will sub in again here. Cruz Vasquez. It looks like Sears might have stepped out there trying to find someone to pass it over to. That was a long possession for Hempfield, but they couldn't get anything out of it. And now the Bulldogs. Vasquez takes it up. Flips it to Mitchell. To Strobel inside. Lockhart. Mitchell trying to put a move on Hilton. And Wilson passing around the key for finally getting an open look that doesn't go from Vasquez. Davon Edmund Green on the rebound. Black Knights get it back, down by 5. Again, holding their own here so far. Essinger gonna try it from 3 and connect. Yeah. He's struggled a little bit with the three-point shot the past few games. He got it down pat there.
Much like Hagel, he's coming off a night where he just could never really find his rhythm. So I see him hit a big shot early, showing his confidence wasn't shaken from one off night.
That one just bounced off the rim, but Mitchell gets the rebound and tries it again, and that time, again, Edmund Green couldn't corral it. He had the rebound there right in his hands. And it looks like Hempfield able to get away with one there. On the Wilson Bulldogs, looks like it might have gone out of bounds off of a Wilson player.
I believe they called a charge there on Wilson.
And then for the Black Knights, Cole Overball.
Cole Overball on the court tonight. Got a different number to him. He's wearing number 45.
I was about to say, I don't remember a number 45.
Yeah, that caught me off guard too, but you hear from the PA announcer, Jason Mackey, that is Overball. So we'll duly note that. There's Hagel driving to get to the net, and Hempfield has tied it at 12. Pretty impressive start for these Black Knights.
Hempfield's biggest problem last night was their slow start. And tonight, they're determined to not let that happen again.
Yeah.
And if they keep playing with this fire, this intensity, they could upset the Wilson Bulldogs here tonight.
Wilson able to make the field goal there, and looks like it's going to be an N1 as he was fouled on the way to the net, as it was Mitchell there on the made field goal. He'll be at the line shooting one more.
The Black Knights Sam Bennett.
Sam Bennett comes in for Will Hessinger. Bennett's another guy we've talked about. He's gotten some more playing time the past few weeks. And he's in again. Hempfield student section might have gotten to him there. Not quite as boisterous as it was last night, but still here in a good amount of force and maybe good enough to get in the head of Mitchell there on that free throw.
Excellent strategy by the student section. Get high pitched.
Speaking of excellent, how about that drive from Ryan Hilton to get his first points of the night and answer for Hempfield. You know, for Hempfield, they know they got to get it going here. They're 3-6. If they've got any chance of making districts or leagues, they've got to go on a run. That three-pointer, no good, and Overball gets the rebound.
As mentioned, last year's team played a lot, how they barely made it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They did that with 9 losses. So that's kind of the magic number for Hempfield.
Yeah.
They're going to have to almost run the table from here.
Yeah. But as we've talked about, they've held their own against Lower Marion. They're holding their own so far against a very good Wilson team, and makes you think, who knows? Here's Overball off balance and no good, rebounded by Mitchell.
This is a young team that you can just see getting a little bit better every time they take the court. A lot of young contributors, and as they get more comfortable, get a few more reps under their belts, this could be a dangerous squad, if not this year, but certainly next year.
Yeah. Mitchell got fouled again there on the way to the net, and he'll be now at the line shooting 2. It was Overball on the shooting foul. And Wilson again with another chance to try and break that tie. With 16.6 seconds to go in quarter number 1. That time Mitchell is true to form. Avanti Lockhart will sub back in for Evan Timochenko. And there's the guy, Miguel Pena. He will come in for Ryan Hilton. What does he have for an encore tonight? We shall see. That one doesn't go. And Hempfield able to grab the rebound. Sears there, using all of his body to his advantage. And Hempfield now probably got one more shot left in him.
This is a big group on the floor right now for the Knights.
Oh, off balance from 3. That one doesn't go. That one a little bit rushed from Pena there as he was didn't quite have an open look, but tried to make something out of nothing. And not able to quite get it, but Wilson with the lead, only a 1-point lead after 1 quarter. And again, Ben, I feel like it's kind of a common theme. Hempfield is punching a little above their weight right now.
Yeah, certainly. Hempfield carrying over last night. Last night they didn't get the win, but it's a big, moral victory to hang with Lower Marion. They've got a great team over there, and got another great team in Wilson across them now, and Hempfield is still fighting. They're as I keep saying, they're getting better and better and better, and they're not taking steps backwards. They're not content to just stay where they are. They're, as you keep saying, punching above their weight. They're punching Wilson in the mouth at times here.
Yeah,
I mean, they're only down by 1 point against a team that last night was ranked number 7 in the state.
I think you're right.
And it's only a matter of time before one of these close games against a heavyweight, a few bounces go Hempfield's way, and we've got a massive upset on our hands.
Yeah, agreed. Hempfield, of course, not able to get to the championship game in their tourney. That'll be later on here in this gymnasium. Lower Marion and Central New York will go at it, but for Hempfield, this is the third place consolation game, but an important one when you consider the overall record. A win tonight, obviously. You do the math difference between being 4-6 and 3-7. We've talked about if you want to get into districts, they've got to get as many wins as they can. Here's Pena.
As they're saying a little bit at the end of the quarter, this is a big lineup on the floor for the Knights. You don't normally see Sears, Hagel, and Overball on the floor together.
Yeah, they got some size to them. You throw in Bennett as well. Wilson's got a relatively big lineup in there too, though, so they're trying to compensate best they can.
It's a game of chess between the head coaches here, trying to get the right pieces out there to counter whatever the other team's doing here.
Talk about that old adage, playing chess, not checkers. They're both playing chess so far in this evenly matched beginning of the second quarters. It's Lockhart, they're good on the bucket to put the Wilson Bulldogs up by 3. And Bennett looking to try and spin his way out of that one. Gets it to Sears, back to Hagel, who will dish it out to Overball. Hagel again, Sears to Pena, who makes a move, gets it to Overball, and Hempfield. That patented passing game, it's coming into full force here.
Control the clock, control the tempo, and try to tire you out.
Yeah.
And thus far, Wilson is not tired out, but you don't normally see the payoff that until deep in the third, fourth quarters.
Long finishes to games are a big part of their for you.
No doubt.
Keep it close early and finish strong. That's
Overball. Overball just kept it in there and on the foul that time for Wilson. That was Strobel, he was called for the foul there. Bennett on the inbound to Hagel, off the rim, no good. Trying to tie it and make his second 3 of the night, but just a little off that time. Now here comes Timochenko trying to back his way in there. Talking about this Wilson team being number 7 ranked, and not only that, but they're not a LL League opponent. Of course, LL League play does not start until, does not really get going again until the new year, and obviously that's going to be huge for Hempfield. Of their last 12 games, 9 of them are all league games, so that's going to be important for the Black Knights if they want to make a run at league playoffs, and then obviously at district playoffs, same case scenario. But Wilson, not an LL League opponent like football. In fact, I believe football is the only sport that they're in the LL League, if I remember correctly.
Football tends to have some weird teams in weird places. Wilson, they're a great group. They're a great school, great group of guys. They are far away from everybody else in the LL League.
Yeah, so you got to compensate for that best you can. Here is Bennett. Looks like he took a little bit too much time there. And that's going to be a turnover on him. Wilson will get it back. Still holding on to that 3-point lead. These offenses have been shut down so far in quarter number 2. I believe we've only seen the one made bucket by Lockhart in the first 2 and about 15 seconds. But here's a move. Going up and off balance. And again, Wilson shooting tonight, you know, they started out good, but now they started to falter a little bit, and that's given Hempfield a chance to stay in it for now.
But just as Wilson gets cold, Hempfield's offense also going.
Yeah, true.
They haven't scored yet in the second quarter.
Pena dishes out to Edmund Green, who will drive and again finish to get to the net.
Body to Monty Lockhart down low. Well, Lockhart is a big young man down there. He is a strong individual. Edmund Green making him look like a child.
Yeah. Lockhart couldn't make it there, tried to get a tip in from Timochenko, but couldn't. And it was Edmund Green, the third one to get to it, to get the rebound. And you see for Hempfield, they've got 3 players all waiting to sub in at the next opportunity. Hilton, Hessinger, and Cole. And Hempfield's going to take a timeout, so they might be in here pretty soon.
And Hempfield going a lot smaller with this group. No matter who they're subbing out, they're getting a little bit more speed, a little bit more shooting at the expense of some size down low.
Agreed. Well, the size has worked so far, though, for Davion Edmund Green, who leads the team in points so far. He's got 6 out of the 16 for Hempfield. 2 teams pretty evenly matched so far. Not a huge surprise to see that. This Hempfield team, you just get the feeling they've been playing better past couple weeks, and maybe it was that win against CV. They had to break that losing streak, and you talk about it all the time. I hear you say it all the time. A meme is such a finicky thing, especially in high school sports. And Hempfield, even though they lost last night, they seem to have more momentum right now.
Certainly, just the way they played last night, the fact they kept it competitive.
Yeah.
I'd even say more than competitive against a fabled, a historic lower Marion team. It's impressive. And it gets your guys going, knowing, hey, we can hang with these guys. If we can hang with them, we can hang with anybody.
Yeah. Ready for some big boy basketball. Well, let's see if that can translate into some wins. Oh, there's that block. Gonna be called, I think, for a foul on Edmund Green, but we've seen that a couple of times this season. He is not afraid to extend that 6'3" body of his and try to get every bit of it.
He is big, he is athletic, and he has great timing.
Oh, yeah.
On the low post defensively. Just there, he got a little bit too much of the shooter, but he also got quite a bit of ball there, too.
Yeah, sooner or later, that's not going to get called as a foul. That's just going to be a clean block for Edmund Green. Borean drowns both the free throw shots, though, to increase the lead back to 3 for the Bulldogs. But there's your first highlight-worthy play of the night, at least defensively. As it's Huey Pohl, out to Hilton, out to Edmund Green, back to Pohl. Looking to cut his way in. And instead, trying to get it out to Bennett. Looks like a holding foul there called on Ryan Strobel. Actually, Kieran Borean. Vasquez comes back in for the Bulldogs, as does number 23, Josh Valle. Here's Bennett. Trying to cut it off there was Mitchell, couldn't do it. Now here's Pohl from just inside. Doesn't go, Bennett gets the rebound. And there were too many bodies there.
That's just tough to do. There's 2 or 3 Wilson players between him and the basket. Just kind of got to chuck one up and hope for the best.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all you can really do in that case. And looks like
Travel.
Yeah, travel they're called on Valle, who just came in. Giving it right back to Hempfield. As we mentioned, very low scoring second quarter compared to what we saw in quarter number 1. We are halfway through quarter number 2, and we've only seen, do my quick math here, I think 6 points total.
After the first quarter, we were on pace for both teams to score around 60 points. Right now, we're on pace for much closer to 40.
Well, that's the thing, Hempfield, ever since those only a couple games, they've not been known to put up 60, 70 points a game. They're usually more in the high 40s, low 50 range. Sometimes, as we saw against Conestoga Valley, in the very high 30 range.
If you're a fan of college basketball, they're very similar to Virginia. They control the time of possession. They play slow. They don't have a lot of possessions. They play solid defense, and they win low-scoring games. So that's a formula that is proven to work. Obviously, Virginia is a perennial powerhouse, but it does not lead to high-scoring games. It's just not the way Hempfield has played under Coach Wall.
Yeah, that's just not their mantra. And that was the one thing I heard, and I thought was so interesting hearing Austin talk yesterday about Davion Edmund Green, having to come over from Columbia, and just how different it is. I mean, you got to, it's a completely different offense from what they run in Columbia to what they run here at Hempfield.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of youth basketball in middle school, high school age, and there are so few teams who play with the slow tempo that Hempfield does. Everybody wants to go fast. Everyone wants to run a full court press
Yeah.
and get the ball up crazy fast in transition.
And shoot.
Yeah, everyone wants to shoot threes. Everyone wants to be the next Steph Curry. But with Hempfield, it's an old school game, and it takes time to get that, and it takes a lot of guys buying into it. Yeah. And you can see these kids are buying into it right now.
Well, we talked about Dan Sears' struggles from the free throw line yesterday. Davon Edmund Green has had a similar struggle. He's now 0 for 6 from the line shooting this season. And Wilson able to make him pay for it right away as Valle puts it through for his first points of the night. And back up to a 5-point lead for the Bulldogs, who have been out in front since the outset, but it's rarely been by more than 1 or 2 or 3 points.
I could be wrong here, but I believe this 5-point lead might be their biggest of the game so far.
I think definitely since the first quarter. There's another from Hessinger.
Hessinger, he's starting to heat up a little bit. He's been quiet this season, hasn't quite found his stroke yet. And if he finds it, my goodness, this Hempfield team got another dangerous shooter.
Only averaging 3.5 points per game this season is Hessinger, but he's already got 6 on the night so far. It looks like they called a travel there again on Wilson. So the 2 10s will come in, Lockhart and Hagel, in place of Pole and Timochenko with 2:17 to go.
And with the travels, I heard a lot of Lower Marion parents complain about this last night. It seems to me that LL League officials are much quicker to call for a travel. So a non-league team, it's an adjustment for them because they are used to getting away with a little bit more, but here at Hempfield,
Stopped him mid-sentence there.
I think a dunk will do that.
Boy's got hops.
The kid can jump.
Here's a shot from 3 that doesn't go, and again it's Edmund Green, right around the ball. Tell you, he may not be the best player on this Hempfield team, but he's definitely got the most highlight-worthy plays.
And he's trending closer to that best player
he's getting
on
there.
the team, man. Every time we see him. I mean, right now we probably have to give that to Hilton, but Edmund Green he is really coming into his own here for the night.
Outstanding. He had only had 4 points in his prior 4 varsity games prior to last night. He had 8 last night. He's got 8 tonight. And we're not even to the second half yet, as that fadeaway jumper there by Vasquez doesn't go, and Hempfield able to get a relatively easy rebound. Now ticking down inside, a minute to go, and it's Bennett looking out to Hilton, to Hagel. Hessinger. Gotta watch Edmund Green in the paint there. There's Bennett, Hilton, Hagel.
It's been fascinating just watching off the ball with Edmund Green and Lockhart battling for positioning down low. These are just 2 bulls going at it.
Tell you what, that's been fun to watch. Yeah, they got a lot of size to them, got a lot of muscle to them, and they're trying to muscle each other out here tonight. Here's Edmund Green doing his best ballerina move there and spinning around to get it to Hagel, then Hilton. Looks like Hempfield trying to take it all the way down. They got the ball back with about 56 seconds left, and ball still rolling, and rebounded by Wilson. They'll have one last shot, and it won't go. Hagel, I think.
Hagel's trying out for quarterback next year.
Yeah, Hempfield needs a new starting quarterback. Brandon Hagel's trying to put in his application. But this thing is tied at halftime. I don't think a lot of people saw that one coming either. 21-21, Black Knights over the Wilson Bulldogs, and we'll be back to break it all down on the other side of halftime. For my colleague Ben Marinas, I'm Kasey Kreider, and you're watching the Hempfield Holiday Tournament on HSD TV 7. And hi everybody, welcome back to the Buchanan Gymnasium, day 2 of the Holiday Tournament, and this is a doozy. It's the consolation game, the 3rd place game between the Wilson Bulldogs and the Hempfield Black Knights, but it is a tie game at halftime, 21 apiece for these 2 squads, prefacing tonight's championship game between the Lower Marion Aces and the Central New York Panthers. But for Hempfield, the host school, looking to try and get something here out of this Holiday Tournament, and they came out playing pretty well in half number 1.
They came out swinging. was just a heavyweight boxing fight. They came out
Yeah.
just throwing hands, everything they had at Wilson. And right now, they're tied against a Wilson team that was one of the best in the state. They were ranked number 7 before they were upset by Central York last night.
Yeah.
And Hempfield is in a position to do what Central York did last night.
Yeah. Oh, there's Davion Edmund Green. I'll tell you what, he was the highlight reel in the first half.
If Hempfield wins this game, he has a strong argument for one of the top players in this tournament. He has been excellent thus far.
Yeah, really. Got 8 points, leads the Black Knights so far. Looks like that one gets blown dead early from Hagel. Yeah, looks like, is there a timeout called there? Or, I couldn't quite, I'm trying to read what the ref said. Regardless, Hempfield retains possession. Doesn't cost him anything. Hessinger to Hagel. Back out to Hilton. Sears. Hempfield trying to get the lead here as Sears backs his way in. And after fouling out last night, he's got 2 fouls in the first half, but now he's got his first points on the night as well. And he gives Hempfield their first lead of the night.
Hempfield's beating Wilson right now. Let that sink in for
I'll
a
tell
minute.
you. The 3-6 Black Knights needing a win to have any chance of staying alive. They're a shooting foul, as it looks like Huffman was contacted in midair by Will Hessinger.
Yeah, like Edmund Green there, not happy about that call.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think we've learned is usually when Edmund Green is not happy about something, he's going to make some sort of play to make up for it. So keep your eyes on number 34 here. First one goes there for Huffman. This for the tie. Got it. Alrighty. So I mean, for Wilson, I can't help but wonder what the message has to be from their head coach. They lost. They got upset yesterday by Central York. They're getting upset by Hempfield so far. I mean, I gotta think that team's starting to lose their mojo a little bit here.
I mean, the coach's speech is pretty simple. You guys gotta get out of your own heads. You guys crowned yourselves the champions of the world too early, and you got beat last night.
Yeah.
And you're about to get beat again tonight if you don't get your heads right.
Yeah. And foul on his way. That'll be an N1 to give Wilson the lead, though. Stevie Mitchell. Looks like he was contacted on the way up.
That's a definite foul there.
Yep, by Hilton. To add one more to it, he does. That's the one thing Wilson's been doing good tonight, at least consistently, shooting from the line.
That's been one of Hempfield's biggest weaknesses, not just tonight, but all season. And good teams, the difference between a good team and a great team can be as simple as just making the free throws.
Yeah.
And Hempfield hasn't been able to do that this year.
Yeah, that or limiting turnovers. They try to get it past the backcourt. Hagel to Sears, had to hit him on a line, and it was just a little to the outside of Sears. He couldn't corral it inbounds, and that gives it back to Wilson. Now with a chance to try and build a little bit more padding here. Nice move inside, but Edmund Green takes it away and then throws it back to Ryan Hilton. It's always something with this kid, it seems like.
What a play by Edmund Green to save that ball. My goodness.
Man, oh man. Pretty impressive. Hessinger out to Hagel. Back to Edmund Green. And Hessinger called there. Got a foul, looks like, against
Hessinger
Wilson.
Put an elbow in those guys there.
Yeah.
That's a call that was made.
That's one of those. Well, actually, the foul is going to be called on Edmund Green there. Looks like he might have been the one who got a little too up close and personal. And Wilson, and very similar to the second quarter, it's been a low-scoring start here. Both these teams coming out a little bit sluggish offensively.
But at the same time, both teams playing good,
Yeah.
solid defense.
Great
out low.
defensively. Hilton able to get the rebound there. Hessinger back to Hilton, who is going to drive all the way with it, but put a little bit too much there.
Looked like Hilton never really had control of that ball there.
Yeah. Tried to go up with it as best as he could, but got a little bit too much air under it.
A little too much mustard on that one, Kasey.
Yeah, it happens. So Stevie Mitchell will inbound it here. Out to Huffman. Over. And Lockhart. Open look from three that he can't connect on. But getting the rebound is Mitchell. And with three people all in his face. Play is blown dead there. Looks like.
The question is, who do they give this foul to? I believe it's Sears. There are a couple that
Man. Don't want him fouling out again. That's his third foul of the night.
If you're Coach Walk, you might think about maybe taking Sears out, saving him for the fourth quarter when he has 2 fouls left.
One guy we again have not seen tonight is Connor Axe. So you got to think that's something that Coach Walk is doing, just trying to keep him healthy maybe for when you get back to league play next Friday against Penn Manor. They'll have another home game then, and then they'll have a really tough game on the road against Cedar Crest, who is a perfect 8-0 on the season so far entering the night.
Cedar Crest has 2 players standing at 6'7". They are a dangerous team.
That's going to be a fun one.
As you mentioned with Axe, it's a common practice for coaches to test a guy coming back from injury by having him go through pre-game warm-ups and seeing how he responds. Went through a limited warm-up last night, going through a more full warm-up tonight. Seemed to be responding well, so I imagine he'll be playing Hempfield's next game.
Yeah, you got to think sooner or later they're going to unleash him. As here's Hagel taking a shot with Mitchell all up in his face, but Mitchell got a little bit of ball there on the way out. Hempfield trying to find a way to get a little bit more going on the offensive side. Strobel comes in for Borean for Wilson. And out to Hessinger. Hilton all alone. And then to Hagel. Nice move behind the back to set up Hessinger, who dishes it out to Edmund Green. Spins around, finds Hagel. Coming into the midway point of quarter number 3. Hessinger. Hilton. Hagel. Sooner or later, someone's going to drive, and there were a lot of bodies around Brandon Hagel there, and I think that's going to be a foul called on one of the 3. Call it on Strobel, and that is his 3rd foul tonight.
Strobel just got into this game and already called for a foul. It's not the way you want to start off there.
Yeah, not what you're hoping for. Nice little bounce pass there from Hagel to Hessinger with Mitchell all up in his grill. And Hessinger trying to do everything he can to cut his way open. And Hagel, here's a shot off the mark. And David Edmund Green and Avanti Lockhart both wound up on the ground at the end of it and stayed on the ground for a few seconds. Here's a shot from Mitchell that bounces again. And looks like a push there on Edmund Green as Lockhart was trying to get the rebound.
Green and Lockhart have been physical all night going at it. It's been a joy to watch them up here. And just that physical play style, sometimes you get a foul.
That's Edmund Green's 3rd foul tonight. And now he's got 4, I think. So he just tried to leap over Avanti Lockhart on the shot. That is substitution, and Overball comes in for Edmund Green. That's 2 fouls in the span of a few seconds, and that is number 4 for Edmund Green. He's got to be careful now too.
Yeah, Hempfield cannot afford to Devon Edmund Green foul out. He has been their best player for spurts of this tournament.
Well, and both of their big men, both Edmund Green and Sears, both in foul trouble right now. Sears is still out there. Here's a shot from Strobel that bounces around, doesn't go. Sears, and Overball finally corrals the rebound. Who had just come in for Edmund Green.
And it's an interesting matchup now with Overball. He's not quite as built as Devon Edmund Green, seeing how he responds to a physically dominant Avanti Lockhart.
Tell you what, Holden's been thinking about that 3 shot. Decided not to take one there, gonna dish it out. First to Hagel, then to Overball, back to Hilton. Looks like Sam Bennett getting ready to come back in. Hilton gonna drive again, and a little bit too short. Wilson gets the rebound. Fast-paced 3rd quarter, low-scoring 3rd quarter. Still a 4-point lead for the Wilson Bulldogs.
First quarter, the high score and looking like a mirage at this point.
Yeah.
This is a low-scoring defensive slugfest right
Yeah. Might come down to who can outbody who. An overball all up in Lockhart, trying to get that ball away in the absence of Edmund Green. And Mitchell trying to get to the net. I believe he was fouled too. That one I believe is going to be called on Hagel. Or no, actually, no, it's going to be on Sears.
here. Hempfield.
Oh, man.
Man, now both of your starting bigs with 4 fouls.
And not just that, but that's foul number 7 already in this second half. We're only in the third quarter, and already the Bulldogs are in the bonus now. Hessinger and Sears both come out. Bennett and Pena will come in their stead.
All these fouls are a testament to Wilson's physical style down low.
I was going to say.
Something you heard Austin Groff say so many times last night, oh, he's got to take that up stronger and try to draw a foul. Wilson has every time taken up strong. They've been drawing fouls, they've been making shots. It's just hard to not foul.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to manage and wait and see for Sears and Edmund Green. They've got one more strike to work with, and they're out. Here's Hilton from 3, and he got it! And that gets everybody to their bench, and I think Hilton needed that too. We've talked about his struggles, it seems like, shooting from 3 recently. He needed that one. Only his 5th point of the night now. He'd only had 1 prior field goal made to that.
Hilton's been held somewhat in check tonight, and with the absence of Edmund Green out there, the defense is going to be able to key in on him even more.
Yeah.
Hempfield needs somebody else to get hot. Last night it was Pena caught fire from 3. If he can do that again here tonight, then Hempfield might be able to pull this upset. But if not, then
storyline so far, Pena has been held blank on the scoreboard. Here's Hilton again and again! Give it to him from 3. I think he's got it back.
yeah, just see on his face and his mannerisms, he's got his mojo back.
Yep, that's got to be a relief for Hilton. Been a rough past couple of weeks from shooting. That's Bennett on a clear shooting foul there.
Yep, that's
on Valley.
About as clear as day on that one.
And that's been the story of this half so far, this quarter so far. Hempfield has 8 fouls in the third quarter alone. Wilson only 2.
Going off that, Wilson not just getting the foul line, and I know they couldn't right there, but for the most part, they've been converting their threes.
Yeah. Not that time though. 1 point game, and Valley still with a chance to make it 2 if he can put this one through. And he does. Down just inside a minute in this third quarter. Hagel back to overball.
So Hempfield in the first quarter with about this much time left just hold for the last shot.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll try that again.
Well, let's see. Bennett looking, scanning his options. Gets it out to Hagel. All the way back to Hilton. Hagel, or no, overball, my apologies. Bennett. And I think that might be, I'm not sure if that's the intent for Hempfield, but it might be what they wind up doing at this point. I think Hilton.
It looked like they were trying for a 2-for-1 maybe, but enough time right off the clock that it still holds.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing they can do right now. Hagel trying to put on some moves. We've seen it a couple times this season. Hilton makes a nice move. He's going to drive and get there for the tie. And now with 3 seconds to go, can Hempfield hold? They will not!
Kidding me.
Oh,
you
man!
are kidding me. Oh my
Stevie
goodness.
Mitchell
Oh my God.
gets everybody on their feet.
Oh my goodness.
Off
With
balance
coverage
from
the
mid-court.
Oh my goodness, that's the craziest shot I've seen in person. Oh, sign this man to the NBA already.
Man.
I mentioned Brett Brown's son earlier. I know a team that could use some shooting like that. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Well, that
one way down the quarter.
that's You think Hempfield's going to go in and have it be a tie game? All of a sudden, that off balance mid-court shot from Mitchell I could stand in here for an hour and not do that.
Well, I've seen you
I know
stand
you've
there
seen
for an
it.
hour trying to shoot
Yeah.
normal threes and not be able to make them.
Oh, man. Well, all right, so you got to get the heart rate down. Obviously, that's a big play, big momentum swing for Wilson. But for Hempfield, you got to remember, it's still a 3-point game. This is still very much in play. You got 8 minutes left, and there's no reason to believe it won't be just as close coming down to the end of the fourth quarter as it has the prior 3.
And the biggest thing for Hempfield is Ryan Hilton right now is on fire. Just keep feeding the beast. Let him cook. And if he keeps scoring, you're going to win this game.
Yeah, I agree.
Hempfield. They also have to limit their fouls down low. And I know fouls are going to happen. It's a physical team. You're giving up some size. But if you can't have Edmund Green and Sears foul out, if one of them fouls out, that's not ideal, but you can live with it.
Yeah.
If both of them foul out, Hempfield might be sunk here.
Yeah, that takes a lot of your win, and neither of them in right now. Here's Pena driving and getting fouled. So Miguel Pena, he's been held quiet tonight, and he'll have his first opportunity at the varsity level from the free throw line. See if he can get on the board here. Foul call on Vasquez. Pena off the mark there on the first one.
Mentioned free throw struggles earlier. Pena now shooting 0% from the line thus far this varsity season.
Well, hey, but if he makes this one, it's 50.
He does.
All righty. That'll up the percentage a little bit. All right, 2-point game. Bulldogs, their first possession of this fourth quarter. And out to Mitchell.
He wanted to shoot that ball.
Well,
His shooter's going to shoot.
Fade away. That one off the rim. Doesn't go. Overball gets the rebound. Pena takes it up. Inside, Bennett. Out to Overball. Hilton, Hagel. Looking for an open look. Finds Overball, who is going to try to drive his way in, then dish it out to Hilton. Mitchell all in coverage and all up in him. And looks like they said that Hilton might have given an elbow to him. Or no, actually, other way around. Mitchell gave an elbow to him. That's going to be his foul. Third foul tonight.
And we've been talking about foul trouble. Mitchell now has 3. He has been everything for Wilson offensively.
Yeah.
Scored 15 of their 34 points. Yeah. If he fouled out, Wilson's offense would have next to nothing.
Yeah, very true. Bennett took a little bit too long there to throw it in. Give possession back to Wilson now. Lockhart on the inbound to Vasquez. Back to Timochenko, who's been held very quiet tonight. Only 2 points for him.
I believe he scored the first 2 points of the night and hasn't scored since.
Well,
Now he has.
There's the kibosh.
Yeah, my apologies. Announcer jinx on that one.
And 1 for Timochenko coming up. That was Overball called on that foul, his second of the game. Huffman comes back in for Vasquez. And this one, already a 4-point game. This to make it 5. Off the mark, rebounded by Hagel. Alrighty, so Overball. Oh, Bennett. Had to extend there for that one. He didn't have those receiver gloves either. Hagel got fouled on his way, and that one just bounced off the rim, so instead of having that bucket and 1, he's going to have 2 shots from the line. Foul on the other number 10, Lockhart. 6:21 to go in a very closely fought game. The last game of 2019, last game of the decade for the Black Knights. I can only make that joke once, so it's been overused, but for whatever that's worth. The last game in 6 days for the Black Knights before they play Penn Manor.
A bit of a break after this game, so Steve's back in session.
Yeah. Be back in session, and then, as I've mentioned, we'll get right in the thick of the LL League schedule on the other side in 2020.
Hempfield needs to just get on a run there. They're going to need to upset some very good teams if they're going to have a shot making this the playoffs. But the way they played tonight and last night, they have the goods to do it.
Have a chance for sure. It'll be Penn Manor, who's 6-2. Then they'll host the War of the Roses the following day. Before they really get back into their league schedule, they'll have undefeated Cedar Crest, Township, both on the road. And then they'll be back at home against the McCaskey Red Tornadoes. They play each Section 1 team twice. Throw in the War of the Roses, the senior night, the non-league game against Pottstown, and a crossover game against E-Town, and that makes up the remainder of the 12-game schedule that remains for Hempfield after tonight.
It's a daunting schedule. Going to have to play Cedar Crest twice, going to have to play Manheim Township twice. And those are two very good teams, and you can afford to drop maybe 2 out of those 4.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you, Mitchell has done a great job drawing fouls tonight. He does another one there. Hagel called for that one.
Mitchell just had an aspect of Lou Williams to his game. He can just score from anywhere. He creates points. He is just a microwave scorer. You saw just sometimes you get hot, you hit a contested half-court shot at the buzzer.
And he's 2 for 2. And Wilson, after that, will take a timeout, up by 5 and 5:14 to go. So it just, this game, it seems like it's been a very streaky game. It's all about when teams can get on a run. We've seen defenses have shut down both of these offenses at times, but then Hempfield, they find a way to get on a run, get some threes. Wilson finds a way to get on a run, get some threes, and get that insane shot at the end of the third quarter. So it might come down to whoever gets hot next is going to win this game.
Yeah, with only 5 minutes left, the next team to get hot is probably going to be the team that wins this game. And if you're Hempfield, you got to get Hilton going. You got to get Pena going. You got to just find who has the hot hand, who's going to hit threes for you when you need them. Because right now you need them.
Yeah, you do. No doubt about that. We'll see. Pena, who had 12 in his debut, he's only got 1 so far tonight. That was on a free throw. Hilton has 10, including 2 threes. Those have been the shooters for Hempfield tonight for the most part. Hagel's got 6 points to his credit as well. 1 3-point shot. Hessinger's got a 3. I'm sure we'll see him back in before this one ends. Oh yeah, 2 threes. You're correct. Yeah.
But he's also been out of this game for a little bit and maybe coming in. Just not quite loose. Got to get warmed up a little bit. And if Hempfield wants to get him back in there, you got to get him in now.
Well, you can't help but wonder. Maybe they're just trying to keep him fresh. But obviously, now's the time. You start getting down to the point where, all right, it's time to run what you brung, basically.
Split up or shut up.
Yeah. You betcha. All right, Pena gets it across. And looking for somebody out to Hilton, who will drive and get fouled. Will they call it a shooting foul here? Don't think they will. And you got Bennett here on the inbound now. And that is Mitchell's 4th foul of the night. So now he's in trouble.
And that's huge for Hempfield to get Mitchell that 4th foul. He's going to take a seat now.
Yeah. And he doesn't, you don't really have a choice. I mean, we've talked about he has been clearly this team's best player offensively, and now he's got to come out for at least the time being. And obviously, I think we'll see him back in there before the end of this. I mean, you might as well take that chance, obviously. If you foul out, you foul out.
Yeah, once this game gets down to around 2 minutes left, I expect to see Mitchell come back in.
Huffman connects there on the bucket. And Wilson has extended the lead to 7. Knight's got to get something going here. They have been they've held Wilson close most of this game, but I think this might be the biggest lead the Bulldogs have had all night. Hilton trying to back in. He's called for a travel. And another turnover for Hempfield. Inopportune there.
As you see Wilson's defense, they are clamping down hard on Ryan Hilton. They know the strategy for Hempfield. It's get the ball to who's been your best offensive player this season, Ryan Hilton, and hope he can create some magic.
So I beg the same question to you as I think Wilson is having to ponder with Mitchell. When do you put maybe your bigger lineup in with Edmund Green and Sears, the success that they've had tonight? You don't want to have, you don't need that foul just sitting on the bench, basically. You might as well, worst case scenario, if you foul out, but you're not going to at least be asking yourself, what if?
Yeah, and the difference there is Wilson obviously has the lead. If you're Hempfield, it's right about that time where you've got to put Sears and you've got to put Edmund Green back in, because if you don't get these points now and get these stops now, then there won't be in a minute return call.
Yeah. Foul called there on Pena for pushing out of bounds. His first foul of the night. Gonna bring, looks like that is Huffman to the line. This is the first. Could be big for Hempfield. And here comes Will Hessinger back in. He's a guy we know can shoot. He's had some clutch shots already this season.
Here comes Sears as well.
Yeah, Sears getting ready to go too.
A smart idea here by Walt, not putting Sears and Edmund Green back in, putting one in at a time.
Why not?
And if Sears were to foul out, you still have Edmund Green out there.
Good move, I think.
That's a very smart move there by Walt.
Over ball comes out in his stead. Able to make the second one that time was Huffman. 8-point game. 3:33 to go, though. Hempfield still got time, but they got to start getting something. What do they got cooking? Hessinger out to Sears. And getting his hand on it that time was Strobel, but Hilton able to still corral it. Hagel trying to step his way out. Bennett, Hessinger looking, holding. And I see Mitchell getting ready to come back in here at the next opportunity for Wilson. That could be big. Here's Hagel to Sears. Back to Hagel. Hessinger. This possession taking a lot of time. Hempfield doesn't have a ton.
Hempfield's got to score fast.
Yeah.
The clock is your enemy if you're the Knights.
Here's a three. Hagel is up and off, and Sears gets the rebound. It looks like Wilson is called for the foul there, and now Hempfield is going to be in the bonus. That foul is called on Strobel, his fourth of the game, so now he's in trouble. Mitchell comes in his stead, and it's Daniel Sears, who has been not good shooting from the line this season, but now would be a good time.
He's been very shaky. You never know.
Well,
Good time. It will not
yeah, it will not be, but Hempfield will get the rebound.
That might have been even better.
Yeah.
If we can get some points here, then that'll turn out to be a good thing.
Yeah. Hagel, Hessinger, Bennett. Hempfield's got to get something going, though. They can't bleed all this clock. They got to score conventionally 4 more times. Maybe if you get a 3 or 2 in here, maybe you can cut it down to 3. But all that is assuming they can hold Wilson, which not sure they'll be able to do. We'll see.
So we talked about Hempfield's offense being very slow, control the tempo, and it works great if you're up 41-33, but it is not conducive to being down in games. So it's really hard to score fast with this system.
Yeah, we've reached 2 minutes. And after all of that, let's see here, Hempfield not able to get anything out of it.
Hempfield blanked 2 minutes of clock there almost and came away with nothing.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen at this stage in this game.
Alrighty, well, let's see here. Got to try and find a way to get the ball back. 1:48 to go. Inside to Timochenko, out to Mitchell, then Huffman.
Also trying to bleed clock here.
Yeah, smart move, Lockhart.
Hempfield's got to get more aggressive defensively because Wilson's not going to shoot here. They just want to pass this around. Hempfield's got to create a turnover.
Bennett trying to get to him, and I think now Bennett's going to foul him for 2. And I think maybe it might come down to just the foul game at this point. If Hempfield wants any opportunity to get back in this, they've got to rely on Wilson missing some of these shots. It'll be Lockhart to the line.
The way Wilson's been shooting from the line today, if they can keep that up, they're going to win this game.
Yeah. Lead is stretched to 9. For a Hempfield fan, it's a bad time for Wilson to have their biggest lead of the night. It is now double digits. 1:26 to go. And let's see. Hilton. Gonna try and cut in. Out to Sears, out to Hilton. Time is a ticking, boys. Hilton off balance, and it doesn't go.
He's just trying to score fast there. That's not a good look.
Yeah, but at this point, you don't really have too much of a choice. inside a minute. And Wilson, you know, Hempfield, they played him close all night, made him work. There's a steal. Bennett and Mitchell blocked it.
What a block by Mitchell.
Why not? He's had enough highlight-worthy plays tonight. You might as well. And clock stops with 44.6 seconds to go. And Hempfield gave them a run for their money, but it looks like the Bulldogs are going to find a way to come out on top here. Strobel comes in Huffman's stead. So if Hempfield cannot stage what would be a miraculous comeback here, they'll fall to 3-7, and as I said, they'll have their next league game at home against the 6-2, entering the night 6-2, Penn Manor Comets. And that'll be the night Hempfield's got to try and get turned around.
It's not going to be easy for Hempfield. They're not out of the district playoffs by any stretch of the imagination, but they don't have much room for error at this point.
They've got to, as you said, run the table at this point over these final dozen games, and Bennett just like taking candy from a baby, and there is the dunk. Why not end the night like that?
Yeah, the way Mitchell's been playing, I mean, sportsmanship-wise, I'm not a fan of that move. You're up by 12. There's no need for that.
Yeah. But at least, well, it ends what's been an awesome night, though, for Mitchell. He's got 19. Hilton able to connect there from 2. Timeout taken. Kind of question that timeout a little bit with 4.5 seconds left down by 12.
I think it's almost a dig at Wilson's. Like, you're going to show poor sportsmanship. We're going to do the same thing right back at you.
Well, let's see if it matters. But regardless of how it ends, you got to admire what Hempfield's done throughout this entire tournament. I mean, they came in as the heavy underdog against really all 3 of these teams. Even though they didn't play Central New York, they were the heavy underdogs against Lower Marion and heavy underdogs against Wilson. And, I mean, they made them play. I mean, they made them play for it, no doubt.
I mean, take out the fourth quarter of this game and the first quarter against Lower Marion, and they've been competitive against 2 very good teams in the state.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of positives to build on from this tournament for Hempfield.
And again, we'll have to wait and see as this team gets healthy what they can do. But for tonight, the Bulldogs able to prevail, 47-35. It was a game that had some highlight-worthy plays to it on both sides, but the Bulldogs prevail by 12. And they win the consolation game. Hempfield falls to 3-7. Their next game will be next Friday against the Penn Manor Comets. But until then, for the final time this decade on HSD TV 7, for my colleague Ben Marinas, I'm Kasey Kreider, saying so long. You've been watching Hempfield boys basketball on HSD TV 7. We'll see you in 2K20.